What's up? What's up? What's up? What's happening? What it do, y'all? Why am I here? I'm not even supposed to be at work today. This is my day off. I ain't got no good sense. Listen, y'all, I'm really glad that some of you chose to swing by. I wasn't sure, because this is a little pop-up joint that I'm doing right now. And I really wasn't sure that anybody was going to be here. It was just it was a gamble. I figured I've got a thing that I want to share. And if you hear it, you hear it. If you hit it, you hit it. And if you don't, you don't. And it's okay. But it's crazy, yo. First of all, hold on. Let me see who we got here. We see Melanie Monroe is here. We see that we've got True Singer 2004. That looks like Erica Yolita to me. How'd it do? Judy Lee is here. Thank you so much, Judy Lee. Judy Lee blessed the storytime coffers when we went out for our last show, and I always want to thank those who support us directly, particularly anytime somebody supports in a material way that allows us to continue to grow and develop, and even knowing that we were going on hiatus, for you to do that was a big thing, and I really appreciate that. So thank you for that. And let's see, Melanie Monroe is reminding y'all to hit that like and subscribe. Yes, please do. But I think, there's 5 of y'all here, and I'm pretty sure that everybody that's here is already liked and subscribed. If you think your friends might want to get in on this, and you want to, go over to the Book of Faces, or even some of your Twitter folk, and tag them and let them know this is happening, that's cool. Why am I doing this on Twitter as well? Because it's just a pop-up, right? And I told you, I warned y'all. I said, make sure that you subscribe to the YouTube, because from time to time I'm going to be doing things on the YouTube that's not going to show up anywhere else. So no, like, people are like looking at my regular page and looking at Facebook, and I didn't see any notification. No, because I told y'all I was going, from time to time stuff like this happens. So what happened today? What happened today was I was over there on the Twitters, looking about, poking about. Good friend of the show, Rion Amilcar Scott, says something. I don't remember what he said. It was a thing. And I was like, oh, haha, that is witty and amusing, as he often is. And so I went to his page to see some other things that I might have missed over time. And I saw a tweet, and I want to read y'all the tweet. Because it's important to the context of what you're about to hear. So Rion tweeted about his 3-year-old, and he said, 3-year-old's pre-toothbrush tantrum ended by an ant who crawled into the sink, thus inspiring my son to finally want to brush so he could spit toothpaste on it. Thank you, my ant, for your brave sacrifice. To which I replied, there's a whole superhero origin story here. To which Rion replied, villain. Right, true. And it wouldn't let me go. That thought wouldn't let me go. And so I responded sometime later, about an hour after that. I said, this got me writing, by the way. Gonna respond, gonna drop an audio of it in a few. And then sometime after that, I tweeted back, 3,965 words later, I now have a short story, because Rihanna Milcar Scott tweeted a tweet about his son spitting on an ant while brushing his teeth. And I promised in that tweet that I would do an audio drop of it. So the audio drop, I was originally just going to record myself reading it and then just like put it out there. But that was more work. Yeah, it's more work to do that right now than it was to go live. So I said, F it. We'll do it live. Some of y'all know what that's from. Anyway, and of course that would be right around the time that my camera freezes. So you've heard, the background of the story. You've heard the origin of the story you're about to hear. So there's really nothing to it but to get into it. Give me a minute, because I have to go into character a little bit, because this is a character read. This is a character voice. So let me take the glasses off. And I'm not going to tell you the story, the title of the story. I'm just going to read you the story. So we're going into it right now. What makes a villain a supervillain? Wait, no, scratch that. Start smaller. What makes a villain even a villain? Because that's such a loaded word, right? Villain. Not bad guy, not your run-of-the-mill courtroom appropriate criminal, which frankly is really what they should be called, because the only thing you can really prove about a villain is that maybe they committed a crime or two in the pursuit of their goals, but whether or not those goals are villainous is subjective, right? I mean, who gets to say? Who gets to say who's a villain? The hero. The hero gets to say. Villains only exist in the context of a hero. But what if there's no hero in the story? I mean, a bad guy can still be a bad guy in the absence of a defined and named hero. And all it takes to define a criminal is a statute and a conviction, I guess. But to be a villain, you need a hero. Bare minimum, you need a hero. But past that, it seems like villain is still a pretty big title to earn. Like, what if a guy antagonizes a hero, but all he does is tie people's shoelaces together and put gum in this? And of course that happened. Hold on. Nope. Oh, dear God. The worst possible thing. Hold on. I think you guys can still hear me. Hold on. Did that? You gotta love it. You gotta love live television. You got to. How could you not? It's the greatest. Okay, so the camera was acting weird. I was trying to adjust it, then something went out. I'm glad you can hear me, but yeah. All right, here's what I'm gonna do, because that was weird, and now the camera's at a weird angle. But I'm just gonna keep going. Let me run it back for a minute. But to be a villain, you need a hero. But at minimum, you need a hero. But past that, it seems like villain is still a pretty big title to earn. Like, what if a guy antagonizes a hero, but all he does is tie people's shoes together and put gum in their seat before they sit down? But he makes a point to tell a super duper guy or night angst or whoever that he's going to keep terrorizing the city this way until they face him. Is shoe tie gum guy still a villain? Or is he just a pain in the ass idiot that makes their teeth itch? An asshole with delusions of grandeur. Hitler was an asshole with delusions of grandeur, but he was definitely a villain. Maybe even a supervillain. But there was no hero in his story, so maybe not. It was still a credible threat, though, and I think that makes him villainous, even if he's not your, according to Hoyle, villain. He's close. But credible threat ain't enough. Gotta have a hero. I guess a super villain is like a superhero, right? Like, if we're not being assholes about it, heroes are everywhere. Doctors and nurses and firefighters and cops. Well, no, not cops, but those other ones, yeah. And teachers and fucking guidance counselors. If we're not being a dick about it, those are all heroes because they actually do things to help people that anybody could do, but most people don't do. That's what makes them heroes among regular people. But the capes and tights set, we call them superheroes because they do things, presumably to help people, that nobody else can do. And even if they could do it, we don't know that they would do it necessarily because kind of having that power, it flips you. It fucks with you. So that's why the tights is above the regular heroes. They're super them because they have the power to do almost anything, but they choose to do the right thing. So what about a villain, huh? If villains is antithetical to heroes, then anybody that gets in the way of heroes doing the so-called good that makes them heroes is a villain, right? So for your doctors and nurses and firefighters and cops, no, wait, we said fuck cops, but your guidance counselors and all of that, all the shit that stops them from being great at what they do, helping people, those things are agents of villainy. So bureaucracy is a villain. And fucking state legislators that cut school funding is villains. And hospital administrators that put little old ladies out of their beds to make room for some asshole with less wrong with them but better insurance. Those guys are straight up villains, yeah? Because they're making it harder for heroes to be heroes. So then if superheroes is super to the regular heroes because these are beings that have the power to do almost anything and they do something real good, then I guess to be the antithesis of that, you got to be the kind of being that ain't got the power to do much of anything, but you still find a way to do something real bad. I guess that makes me a supervillain then, don't it? But ain't no heroes in this story. None that I can see. And they sure as fuck don't see me. On the news, they keep talking about the rapidly spreading viral outbreak. They can't tell if it's foodborne or sexually transmitted or airborne or what. All they know is that with prolonged suffering without treatment, it leads to insanity, near as they can tell. I think they make too much of it. I don't think the outbreak is responsible for the insanity. I think people are already close to crazy. First off, they're lazy. So when they're inconvenienced, even a little bit, they can't handle it. Because they're soft. Literally. Pudgy little wads of meat held up by some janky calcium scaffolding. Not cool. I told the thing to do not disturb. All right, here we go. Pudgy little wads of meat held up by some janky calcium scaffolding. They aren't meant to survive in the world. Can't carry their own water. Hell, most can't carry their own weight. So they just plod about slow and clumsy, trying to make the world work harder for them while they muddle through, half-assing their way through the day. They remind me of that old scripture about the grasshopper, just waiting for the next summer to come along so they can really relax. And that's the key to really getting most people. They can't be pressed to do much of anything except what they want to do for themselves. They don't think much past what they want right now. Most people ain't out to hurt the other guy. But don't get it twisted. That don't make people good. They don't not hurt because they're good, but because actively trying to hurt somebody else takes work. First, you got to think about somebody other than yourself. Then you got to act on a plan. They ain't going to go out of their way to do evil, not if it's going to require that much effort on their part. So most people hurt and destroy passively, just by being selfish assholes who don't have a plan to not do harm. The heroes reveal themselves by just being people with a plan not to do harm. Of course, right now, doctors and nurses are getting a lot of that hero shine. Times like these, times of rapidly spreading viral outbreaks, the doctors and nurses get talked about in reverent tones. The shock of it is the dentists. Not often that you see dentists in the hero spotlight, but modern problems, I guess. These guys is half a degree away from being friggin' veterinarians. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but they just ain't your usual brand of heroes. It's like seeing Stretchoplasty guy called up to the major league to fight against the Big Seven, you know? Villains don't so much reveal themselves, though. Not until they get caught up monologuing, explaining the why and the how of their plan and how only they can see the real truth of humanity and blah, blah bullshit. Until that part of the story, villains operate in the background. Actions unseen except for the effects of what they do. Even the big flashy ones is still largely unknown. You got that clown guy in the purple suit? Been kicking that billionaire bitch's ass for 75 years now. Nobody knows who the hell he is or how come he does what he do. Usually you don't even see that guy work until he already done what he planned to do. The rich boy is mostly just out to make him pay or try and stop him from doing it again. I guess that's all right if your superhero, your supervillain has big plans. But what if they don't? What if he just had the one little thing that he wanted to do and that's it? I ain't have a big plan when I got started. I just wanted to be a nuisance. Like Shoe Tie Gum Guy. I had no designs on shutting down half the country, bottlenecking the nation's food supply. I mean, I don't know how much I care that it happened, but it wasn't the plan. I just wanted to be enough of a pain in the ass to make your teeth itch. If your supervillain is a guy like me, with no big plans, chasing him down after he already done what he wanted to do is no good. He didn't plan on striking twice. He just had a thing he wanted to do and he did it already. So now Night Angst and Super Doofus or whatever the hell and Flash and Pimp Ring are all sitting around like idiots with their collective dick in their hands trying to make hay out of why the thing happened in the first place. Or else they're making a big grand show or using their superpowers to set things back right. That's not heroic. That's just covering your ass. For most of these tights, if they just done things better in the first place, they wouldn't have made somebody else feel so fucking small and insignificant and powerless that they had to do something big and bad enough to show that they wasn't weak. Maybe if they just treated the little guy barely worthy of their notice with a little fucking respect, then that guy wouldn't have gone through such efforts just to bug him. I got the Blue Boy Scout yesterday. They got him contained in some special room lined with space rocks so he won't be powerful enough to blast all their heads off with a wink when he goes nuts. Now there's a guy that's primed to go nuts. He's untouchable, invulnerable. The guy gets slapped upside the head with a Chevy, he shakes it off, and now he's got this thing inside of him, not even hurting him, just annoying him, itching at him. And they don't got a cure, so they can't make him right. And he's never been inconvenienced with discomfort before. He's not going to be able to handle it. He'll rip his own head off for sure. I know he's everybody's favorite set of tights, but frankly, I never liked the guy. Always made my ass itch. So I made his ass itch. That's how I get in, you know. Did you know you meat sacks ain't really sacks at all? You're really like meat tubes, hollow tubes. You got an opening in the top and an opening in the bottom, and everything that goes in one end can pass all the way through the other end with no problem. It's a schlep, and you got to go through some disgusting shit, but it's pretty much a straight shot. They're all looking at the holes in the top, watching what they put in their nose and their mouth, checking under a microscope for some little bugger hiding on a ham sandwich, sneaking through the holes in your face mask. I go in through the bum. It's greasy, but easy peasy. Nobody looking up the ass for the scourge of the modern world. Nobody checks for the villain until after they've earned the label. Everybody knows about Super Duper Guy and the Blue Boy Scouts backstory. But Clowny Pants? Nobody knows. And as much as that guy loves to talk, you think he wouldn't have shared if somebody asked him? Nobody asked. Because villains don't get origin stories. Villains get convenient plot contrivances to help establish them. Guy fell in a vat of acid, looked up, hated the first guy he saw. Boom, he's a villain. Villains get just enough of a backstory to confirm the narrative that the hero is already running with. He's getting in my way. Therefore, he's the bad guy. But Clowny Pants and Professor Metal Arms and Melty Red Face Off Guy, they were all somebody before somebody else with a little more power to them made them feel powerless. And then some tights with a lot more power than them made them feel meaningless. They were folks with regular schmo thoughts and feelings. You think before the webtacular Wonderbug became the only context people knew him in that Professor Metal Arms didn't have a favorite TV show he liked to binge watch while he ate his favorite ice cream? You think he didn't have to clear his browser history from time to time because he didn't want to get kink shamed by his wife? You didn't even think about a wife, did you? Huh. Just, oh, he's got 4 metal arms fused to his body. Boom, villain. He was a guy. He felt small. He felt meaningless. And a bad thing happened to him. But that didn't make him bad. Not any more than being small did. Small didn't make me bad. Just made me an easy target. Want to know my backstory? My plot contrivance that makes me relevant to all of this? A kid fucking spit on me. Now, to be fair, I was in a place where he was supposed to be spitting at the time, so it's not all on him, but he didn't have to spit on me. And he didn't just happen to do it. He chose to. He went out of his way. He tried. One minute, I'm struggling to get my footing on this ice rink slick curved bowl I'm walking in. Next, I'm covered in this white phosphorus-based goop. It smells like mint and ass, and it's burning me. Dissolving me, literally breaking me down into some tiny compounds. Except I don't die. I split apart, and every little broken down element of me is a new me. But we're all one, you know what I'm saying? I'm one being inside thousands of little tiny micro bodies. And all the thousands of us look up from the goop surrounding our tiny burning bodies, and we hate that fucking kid. Boom. Villain. But before that, I was a regular schmo. I mean, I was born in a lab, I grew up in a lab, but I had a normal life. I was a part of a colony. There were a few thousands of us, and we were smart and industrious, and we worked hard at our jobs, and we ate shit every day, and we loved it. And yeah, a few hours a day, some guy would shine a bluish white light on us, and that was weird, but other than that, easy peasy. One day, though, new guy comes into the lab, intern, asks what it's all about. What's the end purpose of the whole project? He understood what the white coats was doing, that they were using the light on the ants to enhance our intelligence and see if it made us stronger. But what he didn't get was why. Way he figured it, wasn't ants already super smart and super strong as bugs go? And ants, as he wisely pointed out, are already organized and work in harmony with one another toward a common goal. And what he wanted to know was, what did they think would happen if they kept making these ants stronger and smarter and kept them in this huge organized colony? Where did they see this ending up? Now, I'll tell you, there was about 4,000 IQ points in that room and $40 million in funding, and nobody had asked that question that intern did, the way that intern did. All of a sudden, everybody has the same oh shit moment at once, and they decide we're too dangerous to let live and we'd have to be destroyed. Of course, they're white coats, so instead of setting us on fire right away or some practical shit like that, they head to their whiteboards and their computers and they try to plot out our destruction. And I didn't even care. I understood their rationale. It made sense. I was smart enough by then to get it. We posed a legitimate threat to them. And while I wasn't happy that they wanted to end me, I could understand it. There was a logic and a reason to it. I guess that's why what that kid done bothered me so much. Because he didn't have to. He done it because he wanted to see me suffer. Leave it to a meat tube, I tell you. Ants don't even think like that. Everything we do is for the good of the colony. It's about getting the job done and making whatever little bit of this existence we call the world a better place. But that kid, he wanted to hurt me. The white coats did too, but they never got the chance. They were too busy thinking and planning and weighing out the pros and cons, but the intern just started scooping buckets of us up and dumping us down the toilet. By the time the other coats figured out what was going on, he was flushing the last of us down. They were all screaming, why? Why? What are you doing? Look at all the research and the data. And then one of them asked, how do you even know this will work? And the intern says, they're still just ants. With all the shit in the sewers in this city, they're toast. Kid was right. On the way down the tubes, I could see the clumps of caked mud suffocating the broken bodies of most of my colony. Most of us died in the plumbing right there inside the lab. If it wasn't the force of the water or the mud, it was whatever god-awful chemicals we swam in before we made it to the sewers. The few of us that made it out to the sewers and managed to get out of that putrid, fetid slop that sloshed through the tubes, we walked along the sidewalls doing our best impression of the itsy-bitsy spider. But then the rain came, and it would do its thing, and more of us would be washed back down into the slop to die. Rats and birds. Did you know there's birds that live in the sewers? Freaked me the fuck out. They ate most of the remaining. Pretty soon it was just me. I wasn't even mad about it. I figured I'd eventually find the light, get out, find a colony somewhere that would take me in and learn how the other half lives. Then one day I see the friggin' light. And after God only knows how long, I see my shot at being free and starting over. I climb out of the hole and everything is so bright and white for a minute, I think I'm back in the lab. I'm so mad I could spit. But then I see the kid. And he does. And you know the rest. By some confluence of magic and miracles, either the light that the coats were shining on us or the chemicals in the plumbing or the cosmic slop in the sewers all mixed and mingled with this kid's divinely gifted spit and transformed me into a molecularly accurate reproduction of myself about 1,000 times over. He saw me and decided the only value that I had was to spit on me. Boom. Villain. That kid. That kid is the reason I could give two fucks about how this is all playing out. The news is saying that the number of people killing themselves is up to about 3,000 a day. Soft. You're all soft, a lot of you. The plan was simple. I mean, if you could even call it a plan, it was just a stupid prank. Some get back before I was surely killed. The kid was brushing his teeth when he spat on me, so I was going to find a way to get into his mouth and, I don't know, wriggle around in his teeth, be a nuisance, make his teeth itch. Then, even though he hated it, he'd have to brush his teeth. That was it. That was the plan. Never got the kid, though. Got his dad. He didn't even see the tiny little flecks of me on the toothbrush. He squirted that blue goop right on top of me and stuck it right in his mouth. So I figured I'd try out the plan on him, a little practice run. Started wriggling around in there, getting up in between the gums, really trying to hit a nerve. I think at first he thought it was some new toothpaste with like a tingling sensation because he took the brush out of his mouth and looked at it funny, but then he just kept brushing. The weird thing was what happened to me. That goop broke me into even smaller replicas. So now there are thousands more of me than there were to start with. A lot die, but we replicate fast. And we were all up in through his teeth and gums in seconds. That night he kisses his wife, deep, with tongue. And some of us move on to her. And we start twitching and itching and doing the plan. Now she can't stand it. Wakes up 3 times in the middle of the night to go brush her teeth, and we get smaller. She spits and we spread out, back down the plumbing, into the tubes, up through the toilets, onto new places, new people. We lived in the dad's head for 3 months before he offed himself. Wife's hanging on by a thread. The kid still hates brushing his teeth, so we haven't gotten to him yet. But he's pretty much an orphan now, so that's something. And ain't that just about perfect for a nemesis? This was never a huge evil revenge plot. This wasn't some scheme to rule the world, but you people with your soft exteriors make me sick. You don't want to work. You don't want to be inconvenienced. You only care about yourselves, and you shit on and spit on everything that's lower than you. All I'm saying is toughen up. And maybe pay attention to the little guy before what you've done comes back to bite you in the ass and crawl up through the meat tube you call a body and settle in your teeth and annoy the fuck out of you until you can't stand to be with yourself anymore. Maybe have a little more regard for where you spit is all I'm saying. No other country will take the food exported from the U.S. They're burning surplus grain all across the country. People are washing all their vegetables in boiling water with a splash of bleach before they eat it. And the CDC is actually recommending people increase the number of times they brush per day, but to use a new toothbrush every time, or to boil it in bleach, always with the bleach. It's hilarious to us. I mean, the bleach does kill some of us, but then they slather on that toothpaste and we replicate 100 more for everyone that died. There's trillions of me now. I can't even control us all. Every replicant that is created is sort of hardwired, programmed in their DNA to carry out my first plan. I couldn't stop this now if I tried. I'm not that smart. I wasn't exposed to enough of the light, I guess. So all I can do is watch it play out. It was just a gag. Something to do to get on the hero's nerves. Maybe score one for the little guy. I didn't know it'd come to this. I just wanted people to be better. Think about each other. Work together for one common goal the way my colony used to. The way I do now. My motives might have been bad, but my intentions were good. I know I'm not a hero. I know that. There are no heroes in this story. And if there's no heroes, then you can't label me a villain. Not for what I done. That ain't fair. A lot of people participated in things getting to where they are right now. I ain't no villain. I don't know what you'd call me. And thus endeth the story. The title of the story you just heard is Anti-Hero. Um, that's it. That's it. That's the story that I wrote today. Wow, I didn't expect so many of y'all to show up here. Um, I see a lot of comments. I'm really, really glad that y'all are here. Thank you for joining us, Tanya Horton and Tony Agent. I appreciate you. And uh I see take your time, baby. That must have been when the camera was acting all wild. This gumshoot voice is one of my absolute favorites, says Melanie Monroe. Thank you. I enjoy this particular character. Um, so you like that line, it's greasy but easy peasy. Yeah. Um, okay. Somebody caught the Prince reference. Um, yeah, the song 1999, trying to run from our destruction, I didn't even care. I don't know if y'all know this. In pretty much every short story that I write, I interpolate a song lyric somewhere in there. So that was the song lyric for this particular one. That's cool. Um, hey, what's happening, Olive and Boo? Just saw it. I'm glad you could make it. I'm glad you're here. Oh, you like that? You like his name, Replicant? Yes, that is the anti-hero, the villain's name is Replicant. Um, I'm really, really glad y'all liked it. Thank you so much for showing up and for your encouragement. I don't know if Rion got a chance to hear the read. I don't know if he popped through, but I sent him the story to check out because I figured, it came from that little conversation, that little exchange that we had. I don't know what to do with this story. I've got a collection of sort of some of the random shorts that I've been writing lately that this might end up in. But yeah, this was Antihero, the origin story of Replicant, who is a supervillain that I made up, whose superpowers apparently come from light and fluoride. I don't know. But yeah, I just had a lot of fun with it, and I really, really appreciate you letting me share it with you. That's it. I'm I'm so furious with you, Tony Agent. Anti, cause he's an ant. Like I can hear it. I can hear it. But yeah, that's exactly why. That's exactly why. Hey, Takesha, good to see you. I'm glad that you liked the story. Thank you so much. I don't know who Loveliness is, but thank you, Loveliness87. I appreciate it. And yeah, the plan is always publishing, but I don't know if this one I don't know if I'm gonna submit this to a speculative fiction anthology or a sci-fi journal or what. And I don't even really know how well the story lives outside of the context of the tweet, right? Like, how do you set this story up for people to be like, oh, I understand why he wrote this? Let's be like, why the fuck did he write a story about an ant and toothpaste? Um, but yeah, that's it. That's it. Thank you again. That's it. I got nothing. This was just a pop-up episode. One thing that you should know, if you enjoyed the story and you want to listen to it, you've got like 3 days before I delete this one from YouTube because, like I said, it's just a pop-up. I don't know if the Twitters will let me delete the stream. I'm going to certainly try. But yeah, by Sunday this will be gone. So enjoy it tonight, tomorrow, Friday. Tomorrow is Friday. Tomorrow, Saturday. By Sunday this will be gone. But I can't tell you how much it means to me to see you all show up. And we'll holler at you again next time. This has been a pop-up episode of Story. Wait, hold up. I didn't do the thing. There we go. Yay. This has been a pop-up episode of Storytime with Joy. And if you want to subscribe, if you haven't yet, and you just sort of stumbled upon this, you should subscribe. You should tell your friends to subscribe. And I think that's it. If you want to, yeah, if you want to support and you want to tip your griot, that's our Cash App. That's where we do that at. And with that being said, I guess I'm out. It's hard how to end the show when you know.